Now, a year ago today, Joe Biden beat his Republican opponent Donald Trump to win the US presidency. Overnight, last night, came a stark reminder this has been a long 12 months for the Democrats. As the president returned from Glasgow and COP, he was greeted with election results which are giving the Republicans hope for a post-Trump resurgence and giving the Democrats pre-midterm headaches. The biggest upset of the night was the governorship in Virginia, which was won by the Republicans for the first time in a decade or so in a state where Joe Biden won just last year by 10 points. Well, the victory belonged to Glenn Youngkin, a political outsider who played a pretty shrewd game, distancing himself just enough from Trump to win without upsetting the former president.
We get to tomorrow decide the future of our Commonwealth, a future that we know, where we can celebrate the relentless pursuit of a better life, the relentless pursuit of prosperity, where we don't have self-centered politicians stand between us and our dreams.
Well, earlier this evening, I heard from a Republican, emphatically not from the Trump wing of the party, Brad Raffensperger, as the Secretary of State for Georgia. You might remember the name because during the vote count in last November's presidential election, it was he who stood up to President Trump when he demanded that Raffensperger whistle up some 11,000 votes to flip his state to the Trump camp. Well, Mr. Raffensperger's now got a book out called Integrity Counts, centred on that infamous one-hour phone call between him and the president and the aftermath of Trump's defeat. I began by asking him if he thought the Republicans had now found a way to win elections without Donald Trump.
Well, it was a tremendous victory for Glenn Youngkin, and he ran a race of integrity, ran it hard, and really differentiated himself between the former governor of Virginia, and he did a great job.
You say it was a race of integrity. The Democrats will say, of course, that he left Trump behind, but he used the dog whistle tropes of concerns over education, critical race theory in education that wasn't even happening in the Virginia curriculum.
Well, Governor-elect Youngkin wants to make sure that parents have involvement as a partnership with the school officials, and that resonated with voters. He also believes in many other conservative principles, so I wish him well.
Do you think that Donald Trump doesn't have integrity?
I wrote about what I think are the most important human values that you could have if you really want to move the party forward: integrity, character, honesty, and kindness. And I think when we do that and lean in with a positive aspirational vision of making life better for all Americans, that'll really work well for all Republicans that run on that mantle.
I noticed.
But I wrote the book to clear up all the facts, and they're in the book, 10 pages of footnotes.
I notice you've dodged an answer to that one.
Well, I wrote my book, and I'm here to talk about that because my book is about what happened last year, and I want people to have the facts. I think when they have the facts and they look at it with honesty, they understand that President Trump did come up short in the state of Georgia.
You said more than that he came up short. You said you felt threatened by him, that was a threat, that phone call from Donald Trump to you when you were asked to magic up 11,000 or so votes.
Well, that phone call's out there. You can read the transcript and you can listen to it, and then you can come up with your own conclusions. And I encourage everyone to do either one of those and then draw your own conclusion. They'll figure it out just like I did.
I guess the question is, would you take this further? Would you say if you, an elected official, felt threatened by that phone call, by the implication of that phone call, you should now be talking to the January 6th committee, you should now be talking to the electoral commissions, you should now be going out there and saying, I will do whatever I can to make sure that that cannot happen again in any shape or form?
Well, the January 6th Commission is looking for people to come and speak before them. And if they want me to come speak, I'm sure I'll hear from them at some point.
1 year ago, as you said, tonight, Joe Biden won the US election. Do you think when you look at the results that he's just come back home to, that the Democrats are in trouble? Or do you think this is a normal kind of off-year electoral correction? How do you see it politically?
I think the Democrats have made a lot of mistakes. You look at, first of all, Afghanistan withdrawal was chaotic. and we ended up losing 13 service members. Then you look at what's going on the southern border; it's out of control. Look at our supply chain issues, inflation, and so we have a lot of issues there, and voters aren't happy. And so they obviously they reflect their satisfaction, dissatisfaction when you show up in the next election, and they did yesterday in the state of Virginia.
And do you think if Donald Trump makes himself centre stage for the midterms, or indeed for 2024, then that will help the Republicans with where they want to go next?
I'm running my race based on what I believe is the best vision for the people of Georgia as Secretary of State. So my mission is to restore election confidence and voter trust. You have to understand, back in 2018, Stacey Abrams lost the governor's race by 55,000 votes and talked about voter suppression. Last year, it was about voter fraud. These stolen election claims really just destroy voter confidence, and I'm going to work on shoring that up. And then also, as a business owner, I want to make sure we can streamline licensing for all professional license holders, from nurses to engineers and electricians and plumbers, so that they can get out there and help provide food for their families, and also see how we can really help and streamline corporation formation so we continue to grow jobs and corporations here in Georgia.
Brad Raffensperger, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us here on Newsnight.
Thank you.
And that is pretty much all that we have time for this evening, but we're back here tomorrow. Do join us then if you can. That's all from us tonight. Bye-bye.